Let's try this again. My name is Christian Alexei Kanimi, and I am the second coming of Yeshua, Yeshu, Jesus Christ. I am Mashiach, Ben David, and I'm here to liberate us from our enslavement to an alien race. This is not a human civilization. It's an artificial construct created and controlled by an alien race that they've made to look like a human civilization. This is the Matrix. And these aliens are 10-foot tall dragons that have a polymorphic ability which allows them to change the size and shape of their bodies. And they've used this ability to make themselves look like humans. So in these human disguises, they have become our leaders. They have made themselves our rulers. And we have been serving under them for thousands of years. But this didn't begin here. This began on other worlds. And they used this ability to imitate our ancestors, infiltrate them, and then take over their societies. And since then, we have been serving them as a slave race. We're born into this world not knowing what it really is. We look around, we see a human world, but it's not. That's an illusion. Our rulers are not human. They're dragons. This is a race of mimics that could potentially make themselves look like almost anything. Their polymorphic ability allows them to mobilize or liquefy their cells and then move them around and mold them into other forms. And they can generate almost any shape, texture, and color from their bodies. It's a physical transformation which I've seen many times in person, not just in movies and videos. What you're looking at is a dragon that has molded its body into the shape of a human body, just the shape. It doesn't have the biological makeup of a human body, the physiology or internal anatomy. And it can be easily identified as not being human. As I said, they don't have real pores with sebaceous glands. They don't have hair follicles, and they don't have cartilage in their noses or ears. It's an imitation of a human body made out of plasticized alien cells. So anyone telling you that this is demonic possession or something similar is lying. They don't want you to know what they really are. They don't want you to know that they're flat out aliens. Because if they are demons, there's nothing you can do about that. They're not physical beings in this plane, so they can't be destroyed. It's a hopeless situation, if that's true. But it's not true. So if you want proof of what they are and a demonstration of their polymorphic ability, what they're capable of as mimics, watch my last set of videos. Everything you need to know is contained within those videos. The last 2 or 3 and then the set before that. So we have been taken over by an alien race of mimics that are imitating human bodies, these dragons. And this took place a very long time ago on other worlds, on the home worlds of our ancestors. They attacked them, infiltrated them, or abducted them, and turned them into a thrall race. And for thousands of years we have been serving under them. They have become our masters. But the relationship hasn't changed. They are still our enemies. If our ancestors could have, they would have destroyed them. And that's the same relationship today. We've been serving our enemies. But just because it's been going on for so long doesn't make it right. This situation needs to be corrected. And the only way to do that is with military force. That's what's being described in Revelation. The Whore of Babylon represents this alien race, and Babylon is their empire. And it's up to the people of Israel to fight this war. This is the war of their God, to liberate themselves from this alien race. So that's the situation, and it needs resolution. And that's the only way to resolve it, with military force. And the disasters that you're reading about in Revelation, earthquakes and objects falling from the sky, those aren't natural. All of that's being created by the Dracs. They're retaliating against humanity. So that's what Revelation is talking about. You may have thought it was about something else, but this is what it is. It's a war between Israel and the empire of this alien race. And the objective is to liberate humanity as a whole. Because the ultimate objective of what they're doing is not good. I believe that they are harvesting our souls here. I believe that that's the purpose of this world, to break us down so that they can convert our souls into other forms of energy. So we are being harvested, and in a sense, we have become their livestock. And that's not acceptable. I am here to right this wrong that has been ongoing for thousands of years. That's why my Father sent me. First, I have to show you the truth about this world, where you really are, that you are enslaved to an alien race, and then show you what they are, that they're dragons. I have done that. It has been proven that's what they are. They are the newborn in alien resurrection. It has prostheses on it, and it's not fully reverted. It doesn't have a tail and horns and spikes. But you can see what that creature is. You know that it's a dragon. The next step is to act on that and to lead this military campaign, lead my people to war, to liberate us. That's my function. But I can't take that step if no one else is willing to help me, if no one else is willing to get involved. If everyone else is just cattle and content to stay in the cage or too scared, this isn't going anywhere. I can't do the rest of it on my own. I can show you the truth, but I certainly can't fight a war on my own. I'm not even sure I can survive on my own at this point, given the circumstances. So I've had to overcome a great deal just to get to this point, but at some point soon, very soon, I'm going to need help. First, to get out of my personal situation, which is dire, and then to establish this campaign. People will need to join this cause and fight. If nobody is willing, then we're staying in the cage. The truth is known, but if nobody's willing to act on it, nothing's going to change. These things will own us forever. So that's the situation we're at right now. So what I need is for my people, some group from the Jewish community, to come here and get me. That's what I need. That's the only way I can get to that position to do this. If they ignore me, which has been the case so far, then we're all damned. We're never getting out of this cage because I'm the only one who can do this. There is no other person who can do this. And I need to be in that position. I need to become the leader of Israel. That's the only way. And then begin preparing the military. The current government of Israel is under reptilian control. Netanyahu is one of these things. He's a dragon. So that's your current situation. You're not okay as you stand right now. You're serving our enemies. You're serving the enemies of your God. You are being ruled by Satan. So what I need is for my people to come here and get me. And then at a minimum, we can discuss this. And I can talk about the prophecies and Psalms. There are prophecies and Psalms that are about me. That's another way I can prove my identity. And the prophecies and Psalms specifically are 27, 31, 35, 40, 69, and 119. And there appear to be others, but now's not the time to discuss that. But I need my people to come here. That's what I need, and I need that quickly. I am calling upon them and my God, my Father, to get me out of this situation, because I have been trapped in a box my entire life by these things, by these Dracs. I was abducted from my biological parents and surrounded by them my entire life. All of my relatives and friends have been Dracs, and they have been trying to manipulate me and at times kill me in indirect ways. And I've gotten to the point now where I can't, survival is not really possible beyond a certain point. I've run out of options. So if my people don't come here soon, it's over for everyone. And you're never getting out of this cage. This is your only opportunity. And I'm the only one who can do it. I'm the only one who can lead you out of this. You think these other people, these truthers, are on your side? No. They're all Dracs. Most of the people making the reptilian videos are Dracs. So, they're not going to help you. So I need my people to come here and do it quickly, as it says in the prophecies. The prophecies say that I will be delivered, and that my people will come and take me up. So that's up to them. I can't force them to do that. But that is their role. If they want to be free, they have to do that. They've been abusing all of humanity, but they've been out to persecute the Jews in particular because they know that this is the group that has the potential to destroy them. And they were the ones behind the Holocaust. The Nazi leaders were all Dracs, and almost certainly all of the guards at those camps were Dracs, because they couldn't trust a human in that position. They would know too much, and they would talk. So they were behind that entire operation. That was part of their plan for World War II, to kill off as many Jews as possible. And that's also true of the massacres that took place in Russia under Stalin. They've been the source of our destruction all along. It's the same group. The pharaohs of Egypt and the kings of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, were also Dracs. So these dragons have been persecuting us throughout history. It's the same group. But we don't recognize that because they're masquerading as humans. But in reality, it's always been these dragons. To summarize, we are enslaved to an alien race and have been for a very long time. They're a race of dragons that have a polymorphic ability which allows them to imitate other creatures. They're mimics, and they've used this ability to make themselves look like humans so they could become our rulers. They've created this false world to control us so that we believe that we're living in a human civilization and that we're doing these things for our own benefit. That's how they get what they want out of us. That's how they get us to cooperate. But it's not a human civilization. It's their creation, and they're in charge of it. And the reality is, we are here to serve them, to be used by them. Our enemies have become our masters. That's where we are right now. To get out of this and become a free race again, we will have to fight and destroy them. And that will require military force. That is the task given to the people of Israel that their God has set for them. He is calling them to fight this war, to liberate our people and all of mankind from this alien race. Of course, before any of that can happen, Israel must be liberated first. All of the Dracs must be removed from the government of Israel and replaced with humans. And then I would effectively become the leader. Israel would be the only human-led nation in the world. And then we would prepare for war. That's what you're reading in Revelation. That's the path that your God has set for you. I've done as much as I can do on my own from my current position. I've shown you the truth about what this world really is, and I've told you what we must do to regain our freedom. But in order to go any further and execute my Father's will, I must become the leader of Israel. As it says in the prophecies, I am calling upon the Lord God of Israel to deliver me and take me to that position. And that also depends on the people of Israel. If they don't accept me as Mashiach, none of this is going to happen. Humanity will stay in this cage forever. That's the consequence. It may be hard to believe that the fate of humanity all depends on one person, but it does. And I am him. I have broken the first seal as described in Revelation by revealing the true nature of this world. Whether anyone appreciates it or not, that's what I've done. Only one man can do that, and that's the second coming of Jesus Christ, Mashiach ben David. I can be reached at either of these two email addresses, psalm27@mail.com or cknemi@yahoo.com. I'm located in Murphy, North Carolina, 28906, and that's in the United States. My living conditions are very uncertain right now, so I don't know where I'll be next week. It's likely that I'll end up in the homeless shelter, and that's in Murphy. But wherever I am, I'll be somewhere around here. I didn't have enough time to finish the video initially, so this is an update from a few days later. And I did end up in the local homeless shelter, which is actually a house. The address is 73 Blumenthal Street in Murphy, North Carolina, 28906. I only have the use of my tablet notebook right now, which has very little free space, so this part is just audio. Looking at me, it's obvious that I'm part Asian, and that will be off-putting to some people, because the expectation is that the second coming of Christ will be a white man, just like Jesus. But the only requirement that's mentioned in the Bible is that he has to be a descendant of King David. Apart from that, it doesn't say anything about his racial makeup. For whatever reason, I incarnated into a mixed race, half Jewish and half Asian. Maybe this is a rare bloodline and there weren't any other possibilities. I don't know. But that's what happened, and I can't change that. I'm the same soul of Jesus Christ, but this time I've incarnated as a biracial person. And yet the God of Israel is still able to work through me, even though I'm only half Jewish. The truth is, there are very few people in the world today who come from pure Jewish bloodlines. Most of us are mixed, to some extent. The Dracs have had foreknowledge of my second coming, and they've known that I'm half Asian. So they put forward this white Jesus stereotype to make it difficult for people to accept me as Christ when I declare myself. In their minds, Christ has to be a white man with that depicted appearance. Otherwise, he can't be Christ. That's why they keep using that stereotype, to precondition people so that they'll only accept someone who looks like that. And since the second coming of Christ is biracial, they won't be able to accept him. Up to this point in time, I have fulfilled every single prophecy in Psalms that relates to me. There were times when I felt that I had made mistakes and failed the prophecies, but it turned out that those mistakes were foreseen in the prophecies as well. So no matter what I do, I always end up fulfilling the prophecies, even when it feels like I failed at the time. At this point, my part in the prophecies is over, and what happens next is up to my people. I have come to the end of my personal trial, my pilgrimage, you could say, and now it's time for me to step up to the next level and lead my people in the commandments of our God. The prophecies say that they will answer my call, accept me as Mashiach, and take me up to that position. And now my head shall be lifted up above my enemies all around me. I am surrounded by my enemies, because almost everyone I encounter in this town is a Drac. I came to this area with my imposter parents, and they're the ones that chose it. Now I know the reason why. So far, the prophecies have been perfectly accurate, right down to my thoughts and feelings about the situation. This is Psalm 31, verse 22. And that's exactly how I've been feeling, that despite my best efforts to bring the truth out, no one seems to care or even be paying attention. I declared myself as Christ in an earlier video, and yet there was absolutely no response to that, other than a few insults. So I've definitely had the feeling of being cut off with no sign of help. As I said, I can show you the truth, which I've done, but I can't change the reality on my own. That requires military force, and I need the people and resources of Israel to do that. Psalm 2 is describing this situation. That's talking about me becoming the leader of Israel, and of course all of the Dracs will have been removed from the government and replaced with humans. They would also be identified and removed from the general population. Now you know the reason why they'd be united against Israel, because all the other nations are controlled by the Dracs, and they're not going to tolerate a human-led nation that's a threat to their empire. Psalm 110 is also describing this conflict. Again, under Mashiach, Israel will become the enemy of every other nation in the world, because they're all controlled by the Dracs. That's the objective, to execute or effectively negate the Drac leadership of these other nations and replace them with human leaders. We will destroy our alien captors, our enemies, and turn their slave colony into a free human world. That's the ultimate goal. I've tried my best to explain this bizarre situation we're in by providing as much evidence as possible to back it up. It is the truth, but most people will find it hard to accept because it violates the mainstream view of reality, the false world that they've been led to believe in. The Dracs have programmed us to limit what we can think about and perceive so that we're unable to see the truth about what this world really is. It's slavery of the mind, where the slave is given the illusion of freedom, so he doesn't question anything, just accepts what is. They control our minds at every level through indoctrination, subliminal and psychotronic programming, and also with chemicals in food and drugs. They've basically put the human population into a permanent state of hypnosis so that the subconscious programming is dominant over the conscious mind. That's how they control us. The combination of their polymorphic ability and mind control techniques makes them extremely dangerous to other sentient races. They can imitate you, infiltrate your society, and then put you under mind control to turn you into a thrall. And they could do it without you even knowing it, where you don't even have a chance to fight back. That's why they develop these abilities. Their intention is to enslave other races through subversion and mind control so that there's no possibility of resistance or even awareness. That's the kind of evil that we're dealing with. That's why they must be destroyed. I know that I can do my part to make this happen, and I am ready to take the next step. The only question is, are the people of Israel willing to do this, to overthrow their current establishment and make me the leader of this nation? There are only two choices. You can choose to keep things the way they are and continue to serve our enemies, these dragons, or you can choose to answer the call of your God and follow me to war to regain our freedom. You will either follow Satan or the Lord God of Israel. That's what it all comes down to. I am the word and right hand of Yehovah, and through me he is calling you to take up this great cause. Your forefathers followed his guidance through Moses, and he led them out of captivity to found Israel. I am here to finish what Moses started, to reclaim Israel and end our captivity once and for all. I have revealed the true face of our enemy, and now that they are known, it is time to destroy them. By doing this, not only will we liberate Israel, we will liberate all nations and all of mankind. It will be a tremendous challenge, as it was for Moses, but if you trust in the guidance of Yehovah and persevere, we will succeed. I can build a military that's capable of doing this, which will be far more effective than any conventional military that exists today, particularly in urban combat. It will be the greatest land-based military in history, and it will have to be, because we will be vastly outnumbered. So again, that's the choice. You can stay in the cage and live as cattle, or you can stand up and fight as men. People of Israel, your God has called you. Will you answer?